Hey traders, Greg here. We've been looking for this market to correct. Ever since this acceleration to the upside, the prices got really far away from the 20 MA. And for a little while, it really looked like maybe the correction was going to go sideways through time as it was chopping around here. Those earnings that came out this morning or overnight yesterday got things moving to the downside. And it was pretty erratic with some up, down, and earnings over here. But clearly, prices are now correcting underway through price, not time. These areas that we marked off and discussed pre-market were essential today for looking for highs and lows. And it's so interesting what the markets do on a day-to-day basis. As they tried to go down at the open and immediately flipped right back up again and screamed. You can see these bars. I'm saying screamed bar by bar, wide range bars right up into the resistance area. And then as it chopped sideways up here and it couldn't go higher, it certainly looked like it was going to, but then it began to fail. So when we look at areas of resistance and support, they give us as a heads up where sellers are going to be and where buyers are going to be. Then we look for the actual price patterns to develop that tell us that that area is really coming into focus by others other than ourselves looking for a turn there. I'll just repeat again. We don't know if it's going to turn until it actually turns. At this point, it looked like it was going to go higher. In our green room, the live trading room today, I said at this point here, this was our first indication that prices were going to fail or starting to fail. This breakout to the upside, I'll spread that out a little bit more. That little blip right there, that topping tail bar that made a new high and it came back in again. And we always look at patterns from the point of view as what are they telling us about what others are doing and experiencing. So clearly at this point, as it was going up, I think everyone, or many did, including ourselves, thought, hey, this is powerful. That can go higher. But this was an area where it wasn't the right place to get long and to see could it possibly fail. And that little breakout failure was the first sign. And then as it attacked that area and it failed again, and then the wide range bar down, that was the signal that it was likely to go lower. Now, it could have stopped here at the pivot low. It attempted to, but sellers continued to step in, and down it went. And as it came down into the green area, this was a support area that we looked at pre-market, it began to stabilize and look like, could it possibly rally from there? Well, it couldn't. Sellers just kept coming, and here's a little aftermarket trading action. It still can't go up. So the thinking is, now that this is out of the way, and this bar is low, today's low becomes our first reference point of support. It's not a strong reference point of support. This area of minor support is strong. It's in alignment with a rising 20 MA, and then there's more significant support down below. But as prices come down, this is where initially we're going to be looking for prices to turn somewhere in here. It's an obvious place, minor support, prices are still in an uptrend, they're pulling back there. And by the way, tomorrow's MT Live, and you can just type in mastertrader.com/MT Live, and you can register. Dan and I will be doing a presentation on entries and management. It'll be an excellent presentation for you to just see how we approach the markets and how to manage positions, which is really essential as we mark off these areas of support, resistance, and trends. Well, once you're in the position, how do you manage it? And we'll be covering that tomorrow. So as prices come down, what we're going to be looking for, and things are starting to shape up much better, are internals here. And breadth being negative as this was going up to a new all-time high, and we covered that in plenty of the pre-market reviews, was a troublesome sign. But now it's coming down to what will be a bullish extreme, and we'll look this to get down there. And sentiment is now backing off. It's still got room to go down. But in the next few days, we'll be hoping for that this lines up into this areas of extremes and prices come down somewhere in here, give or take. It's always an area. And we get a turn. And that's where we'll be looking for that end of day rally or things to stabilize ahead of Thanksgiving. And this may run into next week. The downside, there's plenty of news coming out. The elections, the government shutdown, other earnings reports, but that's what we're going to be looking for in the coming days and into next week. And we'll be applying this to the markets. So here's the S&Ps. They're coming down to this area of support, and that certainly looks like it's going to reach that tomorrow, where it should begin to stabilize. We'll be covering that pre-market tomorrow at 9 o'clock, so check in for that. The Dow, that has room to come down, and IWM, which looked like it could go higher but then failed, that's likely to come down into these areas. So tomorrow morning, we'll be covering these support and resistance areas. And then in the green room tomorrow, we'll be looking for at least short-term turns, since prices have come down quite a bit in a short amount of time. And ideally, since the Qs, semiconductors have been weakening, they were the stronger, so they've weakened. And as they come down here, ideally they come down fast, then we'll be looking for short-term, at least intraday turns, and then in the coming days and week ahead, looking for turning points somewhere around here to get long into the Thanksgiving holiday. As always, if you have questions, email me, Greg at Master Trader.